Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
It's Keep It in the Ring for this Thursday night, March 13th, 2025. I'm Rich Mancuso. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and also at String Punk Entertainment and my Facebook page live. Also, like that page. Tommy D will join me in a moment. We have a full hour of boxing, the pro wrestling, and much more. It's Keep It in the Ring. The boxing schedule scrolled at the bottom of your screen. Folks, also my social media handles. At the bottom, Ring786 at X, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. And I'm also on Instagram. You find me, latinosports.com, with some good content on boxing and other sports, among the many outlets I do write for. And I want to thank you for joining me, as always, live this Thursday night. Thank Tommy D for filling in for me last week. Feeling much better this week. There are going to be days like that. I'm not going to be here with baseball season approaching, and I got a great colleague, Tommy D, who fills in, and that was a great hour last week. Hope you'd enjoyed it. On the hour this week, of course, the Turk Guy and Dana White forming a new boxing league. What does that do? What are the ramifications for the sport? Teofimo Lopez and his slap against Barbosa. We'll get into that. Bivol and Benavidez. We'll talk about the purse bid for maybe an eventual fight between the two for the light heavyweight title. The nostalgia, the WWE with Royal Rumble, with the WrestleMania season here. A lot going on there with WWE. AEW coming off a great pay-per-view, Revolution, and the after effects of that. Plenty to discuss this hour. No Rebel rant this week. Robbie Rebel, our buddy, a little under the weather. He'll be back with you next week here with me, Tommy D. I Keep It in the Ring. So let's get to it. Like, comment, and subscribe. As I tell you, comment as we go along. We have a good hour ahead. Let's talk about the Turk Guy. Let's talk about Dana White. Let's talk about this new boxing league that has been the buzz of boxing in the last week, because we do have the Turk Guy and Saudi Arabia with all the money, and Dana White with the MMA and UFC and WWE and their TKO venture. Well, now Dana White and the Turk Guy have aligned. They've done business before with UFC fights in Riyadh and Saudi Arabia, but now, good or bad for the sport, we have a new boxing league on the horizon. Now, the Turk Guy, who has been an advocate to make the sport better, just like I am every week here, has said one champion belongs in the sport. Where have you heard that before? I've said it all the time. One weight class in the sport. Where have you heard that before? I've said that many times. That's all good. Boxing needs reform. Boxing needs unity. No qualms about that at all. Dana White says boxing needs reform. Totally agree with him. He's flirted around with boxing in the past. They say they will work with the alphabet soup organizations that dominate the sport, the sanctioning bodies, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the IBO, the OB, whatever they are, alphabet soup. All the sanctioning groups have changed the realm of this sport over the years. And, you know, they dictate purse bids and where fighters go and how much they ought to be paid with the promoters. The Turk Guy in the last 2 years now has taken control. He's making the fights for the fans. Dana White sees that. Dana White wants reform, so does the Turk Guy. If you're a boxing fan, you'll love this, because you want to see unity and you want to see less and less emphasis from these sanctioning organizations that have a control on the sport and have had that for years. This, my friends, I think is good, except one thing that bothers me. You won't have a designated championship belt with all the groups. You'll just have one champion. What bothers me is it'll be known as the Ring Magazine champion that the Turk Guy owns. That I can't comprehend. To me, that throws everything off space. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy, who says boxing is in the right direction because he's one of the promoters doing that, and I won't argue with that at all. says he's willing to work with the Turk guy to get this done. He is already working with the Turk guy, as you know. So is Eddie Hearn with Matchroom in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Of course, they had the combined show just a month ago with various promoters, including Frank Warren of Queensberry. So De La Hoya is not totally against it, but he says he's going to continue to do his own thing, which means it throws more confusion into the picture here because it's the Ring Magazine Championship. Now, good, interesting comment from Maurice Solomon, Mauricio Solomon, WBC head out of Mexico City. He said, I have absolutely no concern or negative views whatsoever. I think anything that comes into boxing is sensational. Now, what you take from that is that Solomon is saying he's all for this, with no disrespect or anything to his WBC sanctioned titles, where you have an interim title belt, which adds to more confusion with the sport and the champions, where fans don't even know who the real champion is, no matter what weight class they're fighting in. Well, the Turk guy and Dana White want to change the perspective of all that for the betterment of the sport. And you have to agree with that concept, because boxing now for years has had no unity, hasn't identified one unified champion. And when they try to do that, that unified championship goes right out the window because another sanctioning group, example, IBF with William Skull fighting Canelo Alvarez again for his IBF title. When you have that, that adds to the confusion. That makes fans go nuts. A boxing analyst such as myself and many others who are into this sport every day, 24/7, they can't even tell you who the champion is in most of these weight classes or who the one champion is without looking it up. That's a reality. That's a fact. However, the Turk guy and Dana White say they're going to change the perspective of the sport. One champion for one division. Less divisions. The sanctioning organizations, I'm sure, even despite what Solomon and WBC say, and promoters can't be happy about this. Fighters overall may not be happy about this, because if this goes into effect and full throttle with one champion, how do you think these fighters feel to have these various belts being on their waist? For them, it's opportunity. For them, it's money, it's purses, and it's money. And if they only have one title to fight for, that's less opportunity for the many fighters that are out there today. During the past few days, I have asked various people in the boxing industry their thoughts. It's a 50-50 split. They feel it's working the way it is. Yet boxing is not working the way it is, as strong as the sport may seem, because here domestically in the United States, boxing is weak. Where it's getting its strength is internationally in the UK and now in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia with the Turk guy. So anything, my friends, for reform, anything, my friends, that says unity for the sport, well, I call for that all the time here on the program and when I write my columns on the sport. I'm all for it. It does create opportunity for sure, but it also creates a lot of confusion as well. But the confusing aspect of this can go all out the window if Dana White and the Turk guy succeed in their venture with a new boxing league that would say one champion, less divisions, and one champion for every division. I want to know your thoughts on this. I'd like to know. Like, comment on the program, and let me know. The Ring Magazine belt, or should a sanctioning organization still have her say on what should be done? In fact, they say in September, the Ring and the Turk guy and Dana White, that September will be their first event. TKO Ring Magazine partnership. They are saying they're going to Alcatraz too, maybe later in the fall. And the Turk guy has said he's going to do different venues that have never been done before for boxing. Alcatraz, Mexico City, and even Rome at the Coliseum. But the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas is reportedly going to hold the Canelo Alvarez-Terence Crawford unification fight for his super middleweight titles in September. The Turk Guy and Dana White are putting that together. The Ring Magazine are putting that together at the Allegiant Stadium. There it is. The comments. Canelo Alvarez, of course, is all for it now that he's in a deal with the Turk Guy. Gonna make a lot of money with him and his career with him. And most of all, gets Terence Crawford in September as Crawford jumps up 2 weight classes. Now, is this good or bad for boxing? Let me bring Tommy D in. We have a lot to discuss about handling the controls tonight, and also going to comment on various aspects and various events that have gone on in the last week. Tommy, welcome back in, Tommy D.
How you doing, Rich? How's everything?
Hey, I'm good. I feel much better. I'm more energized this week. Thanks for filling in last week. Great job. Great interview, too, with Pedro.
No worries. Yeah, Pedro saved the day. Yeah, Pedro was excellent.
Tommy, I want your thoughts. Do you like this idea of a new boxing league with Dana White, the Turk Guy, the Ring Magazine belt, and the sanctioning organizations being second fiddle now to what they want to do?
I have mixed feelings about it. I'm not too sure if I like it. I don't like it. I have to see who's going to be under this, these so-called Ring Magazine ratings, right? They gonna have do their own ratings and have their own fighters, and
they're doing everything differently.
Dana White, people saying he's just getting into boxing now. That's not true. Dana White is already kind of affiliated with kind of Tom Laughlin, 360. He's got fighters there, and one of his fighters is fighting this weekend.
Right, and he's been in. He started boxing is his thing. The UFC that he started with nothing, coming to something now. But Dana White started with boxing, so he knows about the sport. There's no doubt about it. But the question is, does this, as I presented it just moments ago, add to more confusion or unity for the sport?
I think it's going to add a little bit more unity, but like I said, I think it's a work in progress. We got to see how it's going to work. We got to see, who's going to be under TKO, what fighters they sign. The last pay-per-view told us some signs of Turkey with, how he treated that guy Shiraz, that there was some favoritism towards him. Is there going to be favoritism towards the fighters that Turkey likes in comparison to the other fighters they sign? It's things like that I just want to see. It sounds like a great idea. They basically, the whole thing is developed to put the best to fight the best. Now, the way they're going to do it, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have some ranking system. I saw somebody last night, Randy Gordon, he had a little podcast. He was talking about how back in the day, they used to mail out, some fighters to like writers, to managers, promoters, and they would rank it in a point system and mail it in. And that's how they kind of.
Yes, I was a part of that. I remember that really well.
So that sounds like a good idea that they can do. And, now with technology, I'm sure they could put something out where they can do it kind of electronically and produce these ratings on a system like that, by all the writers. But then again, Rich, where are the writers? Where are the boxing writers?
Well, there really aren't any. I'm one of the old school guys still left. It's mostly the young guys that have taken over, the YouTubers, and all power to them. They're doing a great job. The bloggers, again, doing a great job. I don't know how they're going to determine the rating system, and I frankly don't know if this really will work, but there's money behind it, and they are, again, claiming that they will unify and reform the sport. And this all being done without a real authority like a National Boxing Commission. We could throw all that out the window now, because I've been an advocate of that for years, and that's never going to happen towards boxing reform. But now we have the Turk Guy and Dana White and this new concept. And look, I've talked to people in the business the last week. I have gotten a 50-50 split about it. And you can imagine what the sanctioning groups think about this, because to them, they're still going to exist.
Yeah. they're still gonna exist. There's still gonna be a champion out of each of the sanctionings, and they're still gonna charge their fees, and it's gonna be interesting to see how it all works out. But at the end of the day, fighters are gonna want to go where the money is, right? They want to get paid. So if Turkey's gonna be giving out this money, and they're gonna sign these fighters under TKO, then we might get what we want. We're going to see the best fighting the best. I think in the early parts of it, I think you'll see something good. It's just a matter of how it's going to develop and progress over the years.
Well, Canelo and Terrence Crawford in September, which is going to be the mega fight of the year by all means, that's supposedly the beginning of all this. But again, that's going to play out. We got to see what titles. They're going to have a ring title for that. Or is it for all? And I imagine, it's going to be all for Canelo's belts, but we're months away from that. But this thing is definitely going to be a reality. It's happening. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the boxing fans think about this, because on social media, they really didn't have opinions about it. They just want to see good fights. That's what they want.
I would think that boxing fans, a lot of boxing fans like ourselves, they like this idea because that's what they want. At the end of the day, they want to see the best fighting the best, and they want to see the fighters, get paid what they deserve and get treated the way they're supposed to get treated, and not get the shaft. You got a guy like David Benavidez that hasn't got the Canelo fight, and he's been
we're going to talk about him in a little while. Yeah. Interesting, Tom. Let's move on about Fatal Fury, Times Square, New York City, May 2nd, Friday, May 2nd. How they're going to pull this off, I don't know. Turk guy. Ring, here we go, and the return of Ryan Garcia, actually a highlight, and you got Rolly Romero opposing him, and you're gonna have Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. And Haney has shown during the latest press conference, the last one on Monday, he's much more mellow. He's very quiet, but he opened up a little more Monday night with Ryan Garcia, headed obviously to a possible another clash, fight number 2 later in the year, and then you had Teofimo Lopez, the WBO junior welterweight champion, Arnold Barboza Jr., who became the mandatory and got the fight with Teofimo for the junior welterweight title. And Barboza and Teofimo, of course, Barboza beat Jake Catterall. Teofimo in his last fight, lack of action. We outpointed Steve Clackett, but he was not the Teofimo we've been used to seeing that he was at 135. Even against Jermaine Ortiz. But Teofimo, Tom, has become to me the new Ryan Garcia on social media. And then play it, Tommy. We see this, the slap to Barboza.
Sorry, go ahead. I just cut you off. Sorry. Yeah, the slap.
Yeah, just play the video, the slap. Teofimo.
Fuck that motherfucker! Fuck that motherfucker! Fuck that motherfucker up, bro. Bro, he started that shit,
Your thoughts on that, Tom? Teofimo is the showman.
I have a few thoughts on it. One, I think Barboza should have gotten Teo first when he had the chance before the press conference happened here in New York, and he didn't. I think he should have took that opportunity to do it then. And then I think Teofimo, I think he's trying too hard, and I say that to be nice because what I really want to say, I don't think I'm allowed to say, but I'll just say this: he's trying too hard to do too much, and it's coming across very wrong. And a matter of fact, not coming across wrong. He is wrong in the words he's using.
He's not gaining fans by doing what he's doing.
He's not.
He's made some racist comments.
Yes.
Too much of a showman.
Yes.
The slap now to Barboza. A little of everything from him. I still think he's very talented. He still has to prove that he can take over that division in 140, and I don't know if he can. Richardson Hitchens even today said that's the fight he wants. He wants to unify, and he wants that title from Teofimo.
Yeah, I mean Teofimo's to me he's a character. He's a guy that eventually is going to catch up to him, and there's going to be a problem. Somebody's going to do something to him. Not in the ring.
Well, in that fight in Times Square on Friday, May 2nd, will be on the Zone. Again, it's going to be open to the public, so I don't know how many people are going to be there, how you're going to see it, and whatever. We'll get more of the details as we go along. But that's not an easy fight for Teofimo. Barboza's coming off a great win against Catterall. Besides that, Barboza can go fist to fist with him. I know that's going to be, as I say, a brawl, and Barboza can brawl him, and Teofimo may not be able to counterattack that.
I agree. I think Barboza can come here and win. I mean, look, inside the ring, I think Teofimo's a good fighter. But when he faces somebody that can move and box, and somebody, let's say a worthy opponent, he's not looked too good. He didn't look too good against Sandor Martin. A lot of people thought Sandor won, including myself.
I thought he lost the fight to Martin in the Garden.
Jermaine Ortiz, he did not look good. He didn't,
no, he did not.
The ring well,
and even against Claggart, he outpointed him, but barely.
Yeah, barely, and Claggart landed a lot of punches on him as well. He better not do that with Barboza, especially after the slap. Barboza's going to come in very motivated.
What about Ryan Garcia and his lower key approach? This is not the same Ryan Garcia that I've been picking on all year about his mentality. He seems focused, a different type of fighter when he speaks, at least.
Yeah. Well, he's fighting a guy that I don't think wants to be there.
No. Ramiro looks extremely overweight and doesn't seem to care. He's just going in there to make some money. That's my attitude.
I really think he's going in there to cash out. I'm going to tell you what he's going in there like, and you're going to know this. Remember when Hogan fought Kevin Nash? I remember it was NWO, and Hogan did the finger poke, and then Nash fell down. That's exactly what's going to happen. Rolly's going to take a dive and then get counted out. He's going to go down like Kevin Nash did.
Regardless, we're going to see an unprecedented event in Times Square on May 2nd in New York City, crossroads of the world, and 6 of the top fighters in the world on center stage. All right. How about this? Bill Haney mouthing off to Todd Grisham on the Zone at the press conference Monday. I don't know what to make of this, but let's look at it. Roll it, Tom.
Okay, I got you. I'm a little delayed here. Here we go.
You're full of shit.
Me?
You're full of shit. And I hope that this is what you guys wanted to do. It's a fucking circus act. Devin is a real fighter, and you showed no respect up there. You showed no respect for what he's done for boxing. He's a 2-division champion, an undisputed champion, and you're a piece of shit.
Well, that's not kind of you to say.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you the truth.
Well, why are the fans booing him then?
Well, I mean, that's because a part of it. We are in L.A. This is a great boxing market, right? But it's made up predominantly of Hispanic fans that cheer for Ryan Garcia, and that's quite all right.
Well, it's okay. It's okay to be the bad guy.
But listen, and it's okay to be the bad guy, but it's not good for you to be the piece of shit that you are.
Well, explain what you mean by that.
Well,
what did I do specifically?
Well, you didn't describe him for who he was.
Michael Buffer introduced him.
No, but you on the stage, you painted Ryan Garcia as if he's won something. He's a PED drug cheat. You never said that. That's really.
I did. I asked your son specifically if the punishment fit the crime. I asked your son that specifically, and he said he was at peace at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the punishment is one thing, but how you describe what that fighter is and what he is, you didn't do.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I have the most respect for your son. I think he's amazing at it.
I don't think that you do. I think that you are political, right? You did just what you wanted to do, and you got it off. I mean, and that's what this promotion has been about. But number 9.
But we're trying to sell a fight here. You know this, right?
Well, you sell it right.
All right, here's your chance to sell it
right. You sell it right. March 2nd, Devin will come in, and he's going to be what he's going to be a better version of Devin Haney, just like he said.
There you go.
It's May 2nd, not March 2nd. And what's going on here?
Did you see the press conference, Todd? Listen,
yeah,
I thought he was very disrespectful.
I just don't. As I say, and one of my late mentors, the late Dick Young, used to always say that. What's going on here in Los Angeles? There's a lot of respect for Devin Haney. Yeah, they get a lot of it. And to call Todd Grisham a stand-up reporter and boxing commentator who I know, not real well, but I know him and I respect him a lot. To call him a piece of shit and politics and all that. No, the problem with Devin Haney is his father, Bill Haney, who continues to stir up controversy all the time. That was totally out of line, Tom.
Rich, I'm sorry, but I gotta totally disagree with you here. You know,
Why?
I'm gonna tell you why. This is a press conference. Todd Grisham did not ask Ryan Garcia about the PEDs, and he did not ask Ryan Garcia about, you know, any.
Okay, I could vouch for that, but maybe there was no.
He asked
maybe Thomas, there was no place for that.
But he kept telling Haney about his chin, right? Why not ask Ryan Garcia the questions? And have you ever seen in a press conference where they keep questioning the guy that was cheated or wronged, or even if they lost, saying, "Oh, we don't know about your chin is going to be questioned"? I thought that was very disrespectful of Todd to do that on the stage like that.
Well, also, you know,
we could talk about it here and say and question Devin Haney's chin, like me and you know, analyzing the fight and his career. Like, can he withhold?
You bring up a good point, but they're going to.
I don't know. I don't think that was
right. Maybe, and this does happen. Because I've seen these circumstances before where Todd is being told what to ask at that podium. He's hosting the event, and maybe he couldn't say what. Maybe they told him to stay away from it. But you see, but my point is that that was no place to do that. That Bill Haney had no place. But was in no place to do that.
He was being
interviewed graciously. He was being interviewed graciously. He had no place to do that. There was no call for that.
But they didn't question Haney graciously on the dais.
Do you agree with me that Bill Haney was at a place the way he approached Todd Grisham during that interview?
I can't disagree. I think he's upset. I thought it was wrong for the way they bashed Haney on stage.
I thought that could have been done on the side.
But it's one thing for a fighter, maybe a promoter, to bash the opponent, right? But for the guy that's neutral, that's doing the reporting, I thought he bashed Haney by saying, "Oh, your chin." I thought it was wrong. I've never heard a reporter do that or anybody do that on the dais to a fighter. Never.
I don't know. Get a different perspective of it from you, and that's something we're going to talk about more, because I totally thought that was out of line by Bill Haney, who tends to go out of line a lot with his son Devin. Anyway, let's move on, Tom, because I don't want to get into this debate with you. I love and respect you, my friend. That's the whole idea of keeping in the ring. Different perspectives, different ideas, different opinions. That's great. All right. Now, how about this? The WBC ordered Dimitri Bivol, the light heavyweight champion with the win off Arturo Benavidez, next to fight the mandatory David Benavidez. That's known. The deadline is April 8th to get it done, or it goes to purse bid. And, of course, Benavidez with that 12-round unanimous decision over David Morrell, and Bivol looking to not fight and get in the ring right away. Does this look like something that has to be done, or does Bivol and Benavidez head towards a third fight, a trilogy, which is a fight fans would love to see? Their first two were classic fights, and of course, a third fight is warranted here. But does Benavidez get the mandatory that he deserves?
I think they need to guarantee that Benavidez gets the winner if they do the third fight. I think the third fight is warranted. I think you have a 1-1 split, both very, very close fights. I think they need a third fight, and I think Benavidez should face the winner. What they could do is they could give Caleb Smith one more opportunity and have him fight Benavidez. Benavidez, there'll be another big fight at that weight class. He's a worthy opponent. I think Caleb Smith, he comes in there to win. So I think that's a worthy opponent. I think he's a little dangerous for Benavidez as well. So let them fight in the same card, and they'll be in the same card, and that the winner of each fight is going to fight each other next.
Benavidez is quoted as saying he's knocking down a fight up at cruiserweight, or even now that Canelo Alvarez is totally out of the picture for him. And he does want Bivol. He wants him. He would like to fight him for that title. And it will be determined per deadline where this goes. All right. Keep it in the ring some more with you, Tommy D. Friday, July 11th, MVP Promotions, Jake Paul, all-female card set for Madison Square Garden, New York. The Trilogy, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. Your thoughts?
You know, I'm a little selfish at times, right? So I'm a little selfish because two reasons. One, it's here in Madison Square Garden in New York, so of course I'm happy. You know, I'd want to see it, but I'm selfish, and also whereas I didn't want Amanda to fight Katie Taylor again. I would have liked to see her maybe retire or maybe take one other fight and then retire. I think those two fights took a lot out of her. You know, her going up in weight, because she had to go up in weight to fight, and she has she has to again go up in weight, fight Katie Taylor again. You know, she took some damage in two fights, especially the last fight with the cut. We don't even know if the cut is fully healed. I would imagine it is. You know, and you know how Taylor's going to come in this fight. She didn't agree to the 3-minute 12 rounds, right? Like she said she was going to do, you know, so everything is there set up for, you know, for Serrano to be, you know, end up in the same situation again.
An all-female card at the Garden. It's going to sell out. Taylor and Serrano sold out the Garden 2 years ago, and the first female main event at the Garden. So there'll be 19,000 here again for both of them. An all-female event. Should be quite interesting. July 11th, MVP Promotions, Taylor Serrano 3. All right. Just last night in Australia, or Wednesday, Keith Thurman on his comeback trail after a 3-year hiatus. He knocked out Brock Jarbas, junior middleweight. He is 2 knockdowns, 2:19 of the third round. It was over. And now Keith Thurman says he's back at a different weight, 31-1, 22 knockouts, that one loss coming to Manny Pacquiao. He's called out the great Tszyu for his next fight. Your thoughts?
I don't know. I don't know about Keith Thurman. This is one fight in, 3 years? You know, Tszyu, even though Tszyu did not look good in his last fight, he was, you know, demolished in his last fight. I don't think Thurman is ready for Tim Tszyu.
You know what, though, Tom? Even though Thurman came in much heavier, and he always did after being a champ at 147, his right looked really good. I mean, I hadn't seen a Keith Thurman right as good as it was. Jarvis, let's face it. I mean, we know much about him. He's fighting for Keith Thurman, and it's a big fight for both of them, and Thurman's comeback. But I was impressed with Keith Thurman's right. And in a division now where it's going to be difficult for him to get into that championship mix.
Yeah, and that's why he wants Tim Tszyu. He wants to get back in the mix. So a couple things on this. You know, I'm going to watch the fight again, but I did notice he still did not look good when he got hit to the body. I thought there was a lot of awkwardness. And so, you know, Thurman has looked really weak to the body in his last few fights. You know, so he hasn't got a knockout. That was his first knockout in I don't know how many years. So the one time Keith Thurman, who was one time, right, hasn't got a knockout in welterweight since forever. Now you know, he fights a guy, an unknown, and gets a knockout. So I would hold off on it. If Tim Tszyu wants it, if they want to make it, so be it. But I think if they do make that fight, I think you might see the end of.
Oh, he called them out. We'll see where it goes. That fight in Australia, his next one will be in the States. Hey, thank you.
This is Cameron Fields. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you. She says, sending blessings, love, and light to you and your family. So.
Same to her. Thank you for watching. All right, Tom, the aftermath continues as we continue to keep it in the ring with the Gervonta Davis, Lamont Roach. There is probably going to be a rematch. I don't know when, but of course the New York State Athletic Commission just days ago acknowledged that referee Steve Wilkes was wrong in that 9th round where Davis took the knee. Should have been a 10-8 round knockdown for Gervonta. Difference in the fight, why Roach didn't get the title from Davis. They said they're not changing the decision. Roach said that he's accepting the outcome and looking for the rematch. coming off the draw. What do you think about the New York State Athletic Commission decision on this? Hoping to get Randy Gordon on tonight, but he's doing a live program now as we talk. But you're going to have him on, and I'm sure he'll give you thoughts about that. He, of course, a former commissioner, New York State Athletic Commission, that could probably fill you in even more on this.
Yeah, definitely. So after this show, we're going to have Randy Gordon on, and in my show, on my channel, and this is going to definitely be one of the questions we're going to ask him. And I think he had some input about this as well, because as you know, we don't have a New York State Athletic Commissioner right now, and I think Randy was up for, I think they wanted to kind of get Randy in there as of months ago. So we're going to talk to him about that. But,
yeah, he had told me he doesn't want it. That he's going into the Hall of Fame in June up in Canastota. Congratulations to him, longtime friend and colleague of mine as well for years. We used to write for the Ring magazine together way back then when it was a Ring magazine on the great late Bert Sugar, my other great mentor in the sport. Yeah, I think regardless, Gervonta Davis and I think Freddie Roach and Davis will have a rematch. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. Probably in New York again at Barclays at some point.
You know what they should do, Rich? I think, they did sell out. Right, the Barclays, which I'm shocked. I didn't think it would. They just sell out. But, if they want to make this fight bigger, because honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to see this fight again, right? But what they should do is, with all these big events happening in different cities and in Times Square and, they want to do an opportunity, why not do it in Camden Yards? They're both, from the D.C.,
I know.
The DMV area. That would be great.
It's probably logistics and things like that. And Major League Baseball venues where Camden Yards is, and that's to tell you that's from Yankee Stadium experience, because their last fight they had was 2009. Mm-hmm. Cotto and Yuri Foreman. Yep. And the Yankees do not want boxing back in their venue, in their historic yard, because the boxing ring and the fans, they say, destroy the infield. Yeah. So and Major League Baseball does not want events like that. Yet they hold WWE events, MLB ballparks, so that makes no sense. But more so here, does Gervonta Davis eventually get Shakur Stevenson? Everyone just keeps buzzing about the two of them. They have to get it going.
Well, I think in order for that to happen, it's going to take probably Turkey to do something. I don't know if because Shakur's with Matchroom, Tank with the PBC, so they'd have to work something out. But
Tank and the PBC, no matter what the Turk guy is going to do with Dana White and TKO, that the PBC is not working with the Turk guy. They don't do it now. I don't think they ever will, but we'll leave that for another time. Let's move on. We'll talk about Chris Eubank Jr. because he's got Nigel Benn coming up, Conor Benn, rather, Nigel, his father. And this is going to be a brawl April 26th in the UK. Eubank Jr. fined £100,000 by the British Boxing Board of Control for regulation with that egg slap heard round the world in Manchester. Do you think that fine was too harsh to Eubanks, or was it the right thing to do?
I think it was the right thing to do. I mean, I don't know, 100 pounds, 100K pounds. I think that's valued a little bit more than 100,000 American dollars. I think the pound
a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Higher than the dollar.
Well, it's a lesson learned to, do not do that again. Because look, the price of eggs, a dozen eggs, $10.
I just hope that they got to be consistent, right? Because Conor Benn has done some crazy stuff too, and face-offs and things like that. So they
hate each other, and that fight's anticipated April 26th. Go to this weekend's fight card, the Garden Theater this weekend, St. Patrick's Day, the Sunday before. 360 Tom Lawver bringing in again for the third time undefeated King Callum, ranked 6th. Callum watched 12-0, 10 knockouts. Third time at the Garden. Walsh fighting Dan Sutherland, 19-1-7. It's going to be a test for him. Walsh defending the WBC Continental America Super Welterweight title. What do you think of that young man from Ireland?
I think he's a solid fighter. I really do. I just want to see him get tested a little bit more. He's fighting a guy I don't really know much about. He's 19-1, Sutherland. but he's never fought in the States. You know, Kenan Walsh's fight, he's had to fight in Ireland. I think he fought this past year in Ireland. He's from the Ireland, and he's fought there. He's done tournaments over there in the amateurs, and now he's he fights out of the Wild Card Gym in California. You know, I want to see Kenan Walsh in tougher fights. I think this is a tough fight. I think this guy's coming out. He's been stopped before, but he's in a tough division, 154 pounds. You know, in my personal opinion, I know you love Freddie Roach. I know he's a good friend of yours. I don't think Freddie Roach is good for him. That's just my humble opinion. I think Kenan Walsh can box if he wants to, but he gets drawn into these firefights. He's got the range. He's got the height. You know, he's got a good jab when he uses it. He's a southpaw. I think he could do some damages in this division, but I just think maybe another trainer might get him on that path. I think if he gets into these big firefights with the guys like Conwell, like Xander, Virgil Ortiz, I don't think he holds up to them. I think, so.
He's going to have the Irish crowd behind him Sunday afternoon in the Garden in the theater. TKO on 360 back in New York City. How about, we talk about that May 3rd fight in Times Square, the night next, Canelo Alvarez fighting William Skull, and then the night after, more boxing. Great big weekend beginning in May. The great Inoue from Japan, the undefeated featherweight champ. Many say in the pound-for-pound top 3. Raymond Cardenas, the opponent, on May 4th. He's competing against Cardenas' 26-1, 14 knockouts. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. He hasn't fought in the United States in about 4 or 5 years. So most of his fights, Inoue's fights, have been in Japan. This has been something we've been looking forward to. Inoue fighting in the States, here in Las Vegas. The 31-year-old is a 4-division champ. 4th time he's fighting in the United States in his career. I think that's good. You need to see this guy exposed here more than in his homeland of Japan. What do you think?
No, I agree. I mean, if you want to be a superstar and a global star, you got to fight in other places than Japan. But I get it. If this is world boxing, and if you got a superstar in your hands, you want to promote him and you want to keep him in your country, right? So I get it why he's fighting in Japan, and why not? He's a big star over there, and he's a champion. He's undisputed in 2 weight classes. Then why not? Don't keep him there. But of course, us as fans, we'd love to see him here in the States as well. He hasn't fought here since, I think, 2022. So like 3 years ago, I think was the last time he fought here.
Yeah,
in Vegas.
In 4 years.
So I think
I want to see him fight up close personal, so I hope he does it again. This one I can't make, but I hope he has another one in the States real soon afterwards. And Saturday on the Zone, down in Orlando, Florida, the debut Matchroom as the Olympian Omari Jones. And the last of the fight deal, this multi-fight deal for Edgar Berlanga, coming back after giving Canelo Alvarez a 12-round affair last year. Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz, 10 rounds. Berlanga is not the main event. In fact, today, he kind of hinted at that to Eddie Hearn. Very quiet at the press conference down in Orlando. And he was just about saying to Eddie Hearn, screw you. That's not what I came here for you for.
Yeah.
I'm coming off a Canelo Alvarez fight. Why am I fighting a 10-rounder as the co-main event? I agree with him. He should be main event. But Canelo, Berlanga is saying now that after this fight, he's expected to win. Maybe Charlo, he gets next. Maybe Plant or Jaime Munguia. And so Canelo Alvarez is nowhere on his radar right now. But I agree with him. He should be main eventing, not co-main event. Especially after the fight he fought with Canelo Alvarez. It's a setback for him.
I think he's not trying to fight anybody good. I mean, the guy he's fighting is not main event material, in my opinion. And I don't think I disagree with you a little bit. I think the opponent is why he's the co-main event. But I think he shouldn't be mad with Matchroom. Matchroom got in the Canelo fight, that I didn't think he deserved at that time.
Yeah, well, my beef with Edgar Berlanga is this, and I respect him tremendously as a fighter. All right. Sometimes I don't like what he does when he's out of the ring, even though he's charitable and he does this and that for kids and all these. I don't like the fact that he left Top Rank. I thought Top Rank was promoting him properly, but he wanted to go for the money. Eddie Hearn gave it to him, and that's where he's at now. He's not a main event fighter, Tom.
But
And he
not
should
only
be.
that, you said it yourself. He's not a main event fighter. He wanted the money to go with Eddie Hearn, and guess what? Eddie Hearn gave him the Canelo fight, and he got paid millions of dollars for that fight.
And now, to me, he's just another guy on the Matchroom roster. That's how I look at it. And then that card is Austin Williams, Patrice Volney, middleweights as the main event. How about Tyson Fury? Talking now again, as I said he would. Unretiring, as they can probably get him in the ring with Anthony Joshua, a fight that's been in the making for years.
Yeah, we knew that. You knew that it was going to happen. I mean, when money calls, you're going to step up and do it, and that's the big fight that they can make there in the UK. You know, I knew that I don't think anybody thought that he really was going to sit down and not fight again. You know, so, and I kind of saw this happening. Him and Joshua.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah,
it's not official yet, but we expect it to be. All right, Tom, great stuff. Fact of the week. You ready?
Yeah, let's fact of the week. Let's do it.
Put it up. It's fact of the week until it's fact of the week till Tommy D puts it up. There we go. Real quick, Tom. All right. Statistically, the best fighter of all time.
Statistically.
Remember that word, statistically. Best fighter of all time. It's fact, not trivia. Statistically. So think of the record. Go back in time.
Oh, so it's not recent. It's way back in time.
Not way back, but back in time.
Statistically, it has to be somebody.
Back for the week. Statistically, best fighter of all time. That's the fact. Heavyweight.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
No. Heavyweight.
Graziano?
No. You're almost close. 49-0, 43 finishes. Heavyweight. All-time great. My hero.
The Rock? No. No.
Yeah, Rocky Marciano. The Rock.
I said Graziano. That's what I meant. I don't. That's what I meant.
That's all right.
I said Graziano.
You're good. Rocky Marciano, the great Hall of Famer, late heavyweight champ, 49-0, 43 finishes. Statistically, best fighter all time. Tom, thanks again in the Hack of the Week. We'll get back to you when we conclude the program in a little while, because we've gone long and we got to take a brief time out. Let's keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso.
Show to do.
I know. We'll get it done.
I got an interview to do.
Like, comment, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Stream Come Entertainment, like the Facebook page. Back in a moment, the pro wrestling and some UFC stuff and nostalgia. Stay with us.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Welcome back. Some UFC news, MMA. And if you saw it over the weekend, at Two-Man World Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC, and Ankalaev, the Thrones, the great Alex Pereira. Pereira's fourth defense of the light heavyweight title in the octagon, unanimous decision. This was a great technical fight for Kabalov. His punching kept Pereira back on the defense, and he kept moving forward. One judge gave Kabalov the last 4 rounds. That's how good he was. Of course, Ankalaev was doing the punching, and of course, Pereira, known for his striking, landed more of those. Dana White is not knocking down a rematch with these two in the octagon, but Pereira still might be looking to get another title, going after the champion, the heavyweight, John Jones. But congratulations to Ankalaev. He dethroned the great Alex Pereira and the fourth defense of that light heavyweight championship in the Octagon on Saturday. And congratulations to MMA great, the ruthless Robbie Lawler. He's going to be inducted into UFC Hall of Fame, the former middleweight champ. That'll happen in June. All right, the Pro Wrestling Report now at Keep It in the Ring. And how about AEW Revolution? I thought it was fantastic. I think Revolution, the first pay-per-view for AEW this year, has brought AEW in that comeback zone. They are back because of Revolution. Now, whether they can keep this momentum going remains to be seen going into April 6th with Dynasty. Look, it was brutal again. A lot of blood. And we'll go over it real quick. Let's take a look first. This happened in Los Angeles. If you missed it, if you didn't, I'm sure if you're a wrestling fanatic like I am as well, you saw this. You saw Jon Moxley and Cope in their latest battle, how brutal that was. Moxley retained the title, but in the end, Swerve got involved, jumping from the top in the fans off the rafters, and now he sets up for being the contender now to Moxley's title at Dynasty on April 6th. And Kenny Omega, the international champion. This with Omega also. Great match. Implications going on for his title, seen as you saw on AEW Dynamite last night. The tournament to crown who will get him next. And then this, in the cage. Congratulations, Kenny Omega. Real credit to AEW and the sport. Kyle Fletcher. Will Ospreay. In the cage, on top of the cage, all over. A bloody mess. But that's what fans wanted to see. How brutal was this? Ospreay gets the win, and now Ospreay wants to get in there and be a part of AEW All In July at Globe Life in Texas, and be the one to get a shot at whoever has the AEW heavyweight title at that point. What did you think of this? This was brutal. Cage match of a cage match where they did everything. That, my friends, was brutality. And by the way, AEW continues the storyline because Mox and Cope, Adam Copeland, what he was known, that feud is just going on too much, too long. They're going to do it again. They're going to have a street fight to end it all now. We thought this on Revolution would end it all. A street fight on AEW Dynamite next Wednesday night. When are they going to end it? Moxley and Cope. I don't know. And that should have not been the main event. The crowd was dead, Moxley and Cope, towards that point of the show. And it did not live up to expectations. This cage match did, though. That lived up to expectations. And Mariah May, another bloodbath. Mariah May and Toni Storm retains the title. And now she's moving on to someone else. But the trilogy is over. This was a bloodbath. You see a lot of this in AEW. Sometimes they go a little too far. But that was an action-packed, great female title, women's division match for AEW. Overall, I give that show a B+. Revolution. As they move on to Dynasty April 6th. WWE, LA Knight, the new United States champion. And he's Nakamura. Is he out of WWE? That's a question. His contract may be up. That's why LA Knight's got the title now. Headed to WrestleMania. Naomi, the story continues. Naomi, she's the bad girl now. She's the heel. Where does she go with this Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair situation now in WWE? WrestleMania bound. Maybe triple threat. How about John Cena and Cody Rhodes? We're finally going to see Cena's reaction and talking in Germany on Monday Night Raw this coming Monday, which, by the way, airs at 3 p.m. Eastern on Netflix this week because it's taking place in Germany with Cody Rhodes. They're going to be in separate areas, but they're going to confront each other. And CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. headed towards a triple threat at WrestleMania. We saw this develop. On Monday Night Raw. It's Rollins and Punk are in the cage, and then all of a sudden Rollins and Punk, and then here comes Roman Reigns getting involved, opening up the cage because he has things to settle with both these guys, and that's no doubt leading to a triple threat at WrestleMania. And Paul E siding with Punk when it was over, and Reigns with his reaction when that was all over about his wise man. Where does Paul E stand in all this now? Tune in. It's WrestleMania season. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, they're headed to a clash for WrestleMania. That's developing more and more. And the newest Hall of Fame inductees to the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony coming up on WrestleMania weekend. And it's going to be on the same night as Friday Night SmackDown. I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Congratulations to Lex Luger. Controversial. He has a controversial past in history, but he's on the comeback as far as rebounding from, he's been paralyzed. He's been in a wheelchair. Diamond Dallas Page has been instrumental in helping him to walk again. He's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, along with Michelle McCool, the wife of The Undertaker, Triple H, and now we're hearing that the Natural Disasters, a great tag team champions of the past, Earthquake and Typhoon. They are going to be the newest inductees, and maybe even Demolition still to be announced. So a lot going on as we head to WrestleMania season, a lot going on with AEW, more of that next week. No Rebel Rant this week. He's under the weather. He'll be back with us next week on Keep It in the Ring. I miss him. I'm sure you do as well. I miss the Rebel Rant. Get better, Robbie, from all of us here at Keep It in the Ring. On that note, a brief timeout. Come back, wrap up with nostalgia as we do every week, and a little bit more. Let's Keep It in the Ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Stream Punk Entertainment, like my Facebook page. Back after this.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, nostalgia time, as we do every week here on the program. March 17, 1990, the controversial ending to the Julio Cesar Chavez 12th round TKO over Meldrick Taylor that unified the WBC and IBF junior welterweight titles in Las Vegas and the Hilton. Taylor leading on all two of the judges' scorecards would have won the decision. 68-0 Chavez knocked him down, less than 20 seconds left in the bout. Many remember this as one of the most controversial fight in boxing history. Taylor rose to his feet. The referee then, Richard Steele, waved the end of the fight. And Richard Steele, that referee, was never the same after that. Didn't get the major championship fights after that because of the way he waved the fight off. It was controversial because we know that Julio Cesar Chavez, the Mexican icon in the Hall of Fame, one of the all-time greats of the sport, Meldrick Taylor as well at one time, was a great and an Olympian gold medalist as well. Then we go to March 13th in 1993. Michael Carbajal, 7th round KO over Roberto Gonzalez, unifying the WBC and IBF junior featherweight titles in Las Vegas. Carbajal knocked down in rounds 2 and 5, and then trailed on 3 judges' scorecards. That's what made it even more interesting. He stopped him with a left hook to the chin. Carbajal in 1 second remaining in the 7th round. Carbajal over Humberto Gonzalez. Another interesting part of boxing history that closes up the nostalgia bag this week. Tommy G, let me bring you in for one final thought or two and say goodnight. Tommy, so a lot going on. Again, the ring belt, the Turk Eye, Dana White, very interesting developments in the sport this past few days.
Yeah, we got that, and I'm excited for WrestleMania. So, but this Hall of Fame. Let's go to Hall of Fame real quick. I did hear about the natural disasters going into the Hall of Fame, but I just don't understand. Like, demolition should definitely be in for that. If you're gonna put the natural disasters, put the Colossal Connection in there too. Put Haku in, because Haku.
Well, they were, you know what it was with demolition was Axe and Smash, who I knew very well. I worked with them for a while. There was a division with them and Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And that caused them to be away from WWE for a long time. But with Triple H now in control and a whole different regime there, there's peace, and they deserve it. They deserve it, and they might get the call. I'm hearing that they might be the tag team also to go in, and you could hear that in a matter of days after they do the natural disasters. And if not this year, there's always next. Yeah, and maybe I one day will go into somebody's Hall of Fame. Maybe one day you'll go in the Hall of Fame. Not that it means anything to me, but Tommy D, my friend, thanks as always. Great job behind the scenes and contributing to the program this week with your great insights. Where do fans get you besides being here with me on Keep It in the Ring every week?
Well, you can see me here on YouTube at TD Sports Talk live. Just put in my name, Thomas Dillamouth, in the search engine, or TD Sports Talk. Either way, you'll find me. I'm on Instagram as well. I use my real name for everything because it's not a common name. So Tom Dillamouth on Instagram and then Thomas Dillamouth on Facebook. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube.
You do a great job. You're a rising star in this business. Thanks again. I'll see you. Yeah.
And I'm also with Pedro Fernandez on Ring Talk Worldwide. He'll kill me if I don't say it. So Ring Talk Worldwide every Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern time on the radio from Sports Byline Radio. So,
and I got to get on his show. He wants me on as a guest. After last week, I got to get on his show. The stories me and him would have together would be phenomenal. I might do that. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks.
You got it, Rich.
Let's keep it in the ring this week. Quick hour, a lot of info. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And next week we'll be back at you, 8 p.m. Eastern, live here on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Please like and comment about the program and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, as well on String Punk Entertainment and the Facebook page. Keep It in the Ring like that if you haven't done so already. We'll be back with you next week here, as always, 8 p.m. Eastern again. And boxing, taking a little break for the major action unless somebody does something controversial between now and next week as we gear towards April with Boots Ennis having a major title fight with Stellanos in Atlantic City, that being on April 12th. And, of course, you have the fights on the zone this weekend. You'll see Berlanger back in action and Callum Smith in the Garden at the theater. Yeah, that's, I think, on UFC Fight Pass. So enjoy the fights this weekend, everyone. Thanks for being with us. As I always say, stay well. Be good to each other. God bless. And until next Thursday night live here on the program at Keep It in the Ring, I'm Rich Mancuso. As always, keep it in the ring. Thanks for watching.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.